Hello and welcome to Boring Dad Gaming, where today I'm going to be looking at Baldur's Gate 3 and putting together a character leveling guide for dexterity-based fighters. I looked at strength-based fighters in the last episode, and we're going to look at sort of alternatives for that, which can work equally as well. So we'll dive straight in. Now, I recommended the soldier background for the strength-based fighters. But I think for dex fighters, you've actually got perhaps a couple of choices depending on which way you want to go. I've selected the urchin background because that gives us proficiency in sleight of hand and stealth, which work very well, both of those with the dexterity stat that we're going to be buffing. But you could also equally look at something like Outlander, athletics and survival. But I think probably if you're going dex, these two background features work very well. In terms of the race, again, you've got a bit of a choice. I think a very good choice is Drow, because you're given +2 dexterity straight away, as well as +1 charisma, which is important as I said in the last video, with any of these characters, we're going to be sort of the face of the party. We're going to be talking to people and probably getting a lot of, speech checks. So having that charisma is quite nice there as well. But yeah, all otherwise good stuff. You get superior dark vision, Fey ancestry, which means you get advantage on saving throws against certain types of magic, which is pretty good. In terms of the sub-race, again, it's your choice really. It doesn't really make any mechanical difference, but basically Lolth-sworn Drow is kind of the evil side of the Drow race, if you like, and the Seldarine Drow are at war with them, so I guess you'd probably put them more towards the good camp, even if they're not fully good. They are still Drow. There are certain aesthetic differences as well, but let's say we're going to go Lolth-sworn for this build. But you can do either, absolutely. Appearance doesn't matter. We're going to go into class and choose fighter again. Now in the dex-based build, you've got a couple of choices depending on whether you want to be a ranged character predominantly or an up-close fighter. So archery works very, very well on a dex fighter, as does two-weapon fighting, sort of dual wielding basically. I'm going to go for archery on this one though. Make them the archer character, and actually with this build we even get the heavy armor proficiency unlocked. I think that may come with Drow, I'm not entirely sure, but there it is. So they can wear any kind of armor, which is going to be very useful. If we move on to skills, we can see that the inherited skills, we've got 2 from urchin, and Drow's already got the perception ticked there. Again, you can kind of, this isn't too important, but I've chosen the athletics. Just our strength is not going to be particularly high, but it's still quite good to resist being shoved, I think. And you do get a +2 when you select proficiency with it. And we can't choose persuasion, but we can choose intimidation. So it kind of works well with the Drow race anyway. But yeah, we are going to be getting a lot of speech checks, as I mentioned before, so that's worth having. In terms of the abilities, this is what I've gone with. I've maxed out the dexterity with that +2 from the Drow race. Constitution could take it up to 15, that's okay, but we'll look to maybe boost it to 16 at level 4. Intelligence doesn't matter. Wisdom I've given up to 12 just for that sort of those perception checks. And charisma I've again given 12 just so we've got some kind of modifier for those persuasion checks. Well, not persuasion, intimidation checks. There we go. Now that's level 1, so if we got to level 2 now. So here we are at level 2, and just as with the strength fighter, there's not really any choices to be made here, just to mention that you do get action surge, which is a nice skill. It means that once per long rest you can give yourself an extra action, which can be the difference between winning or losing a fight sometimes, so that's pretty nice. And at level 3, again, we get the same choice as we did with the strength build. I'm again going to recommend the Battlemaster over the Eldritch Knight. I just feel like the Eldritch Knight is a bit of a sort of poor man's halfway house between a wizard and a fighter, whereas if you sort of lean into the fighting element of it, you get a much better class in my mind. You're probably going to want a wizard in the party anyway, like Gale or whoever. So yeah. Again, we'll look at the superiority dice skills that we get. We get 4 of these, and I think these are per short rest. Or maybe you get some back on a short rest, I can't quite remember. But again, I'm probably going to go for the ones that I had before, especially menacing attack, because frightened makes the target run away from you, which is alright, but I prefer Not the trip attack, because again, if you're not making someone prone, that means the next attack on them is going to be disadvantaged if we're the archer character that we are. So we're going to go for disarming attack. Rally's a decent one, but I'm just going to go for the riposte. But maybe as we're an archer, maybe we do go for that rally, because we probably won't get much mileage out of the riposte. Yeah, okay, we'll make that change for this class, and that's level 3. And so here we are at level 4, maximum level for the early access. So again, as with the strength fighter, we get the choice to add some ability points, and it's given us 2 that we're going to change immediately. So not strength, no. We're going to add 1 to our dexterity, and we're going to add 1 to our constitution as well. So that has raised our dex from 17 to 18 and given us an extra point on the modifier. So we've got a +4 there now. And on constitution, we've gone from a +2 to +3, which is all pretty good. And you'll notice as well that our scores are all even as well. So I think we're kind of, making the most out of the modifiers. Because if you've got an odd number, obviously it doesn't change your modifier at all. But there we go. So yeah, that's a very effective archer build for the Baldur's Gate 3 early access. And we'll end it there. So I hope this was useful. If it was, then please do hit the like button on the video. Maybe subscribe to the channel as well. We're going to be doing a lot more of these Baldur's Gate 3 class guides. So yeah, hope to see you next time for more. Bye for now.